Making your first million space bucks in Star Citizen can be a big milestone, especially if you're a new player. But having that kind of cash on hand shows that you know how to survive and generally means that you're close to buying yourself a better ship and upgrading your status in the verse. But getting that first mil can be a challenging task, especially for new players. So in today's video, I'll be going over the best ways to make money as a new player with the assumption that you have a more basic starting ship. Now, certain gameplay loops in Star Citizen will be off limits to new players until they have better ships or just more money. Trading, for example, which during certain patches has been a somewhat lucrative gameplay loop, requires a decent hauling ship and a good chunk of cash before you can really partake in making money. Likewise, mining, which again could be argued as one of the faster ways to earn money, requires you to have a mining-capable ship like a prospector. So until you have the means to mine, it's not really a viable way to earn early game, aside from hand mining, which I'll mention later in this guide. Basically, the most reliable early game and honestly end game ways of making money are missions. These come in several different categories, some which require on-foot combat, others requiring ship combat, and some that actually mix them together. Now, in the long run, Star Citizen is going to most benefit the player that can build up as many of the various skill sets to take advantage of all the different opportunities in the game. So, flying a spaceship competently enough to kill NPC ships, or having enough FPS skills to clear an underground bunker full of bad guys will be essential skills for most missions. That said, if you're just in love with the space trucker lifestyle or mining, it's possible to avoid combat in this game, but regarding earning your first million, combat is just going to get you there so much faster than any other option. Now for this guide, I'm going to assume that you have at least some of the basics down for the game, or at least are learning them, and if not, check out this new player guide on just how to get into the game. Alright, let's get into the missions you should be running. Now before taking any contract in Star Citizen, always activate the A Call to Arms contract in the Mercenary Contract tab. This will give you 500 Alpha UEC or more every time that you kill a hostile, so it's basically bonus money if you end up killing hostile NPCs on any mission. Now I was going to try and start this guide with a super low skill non-combat delivery mission tree summary, however upon further testing, the delivery missions in this game are so buggy and have so many issues that crop up that I found them more challenging in many ways than just a simple combat mission. Is this package underground? Did it spawn a package underground? Is that what's happening right now? So for the time being, I'm going to suggest that you focus on some of the simple and more reliable ways to earn early game, such as the security-based bunker missions. Within the mercenary tree on the contract manager, you'll find a security work assessment mission. This mission has to be completed to start getting the defend occupants and provide backup-based missions, which are essentially exact copies of the assessment mission itself. These missions may have slightly different names depending on what planet system you're in, so just look for a description that involves providing backup at a bunker. These contracts will start at a base pay of 15,000 per completion, plus the bonuses that you get from having the A Call to Arms mission, and as you progress your reputation and even hit max rank, you can earn up to 90,000 per mission, plus the Call to Arms bonus, which can net you another 15k. The basic tier 1 bunkers spawn 10 enemies that are generally pretty darn easy to kill. In fact, if you forget to bring a weapon, you can usually dive in for a quick melee kill using the middle mouse button and then take the enemy's weapon to complete the mission. I do, however, recommend bringing a backpack and medical device to improve your looting and survival chances. You are, of course, welcome to bring a friend along for extra survivability. Just know that you will receive less reputation and money when sharing the contract, so keep that in mind. It's better to solo these contracts if your goal is to build credits and reputation as fast as possible. Even with the occasional death, it's still quicker than teaming up. Now the maximum rank bunker missions are wave based with 4 waves of enemies to fight through. You can complete them in about 10 minutes once combat starts. Bunkers also spawn containers with decent loot like weapons and healing items, so be sure to loot them on your way out for some bonus stuff to sell or just use on your next mission. Generally speaking, running bunker missions in the Crusader system seems to be the most time efficient for easy landings and fast Atmo exit, but if you want some pretty scenery, you can always run them on Microtech. Now these bunker missions are generally pretty darn easy, especially considering just how slow the AI are to react. And once you understand kind of where NPCs spawn from their spawn closets and kind of keep looking around to catch them, you should be able to run through these pretty regularly. Just be careful not to shoot the friendly guards on these missions. They're usually marked with a little arrow, but that doesn't always show up. Now, the great thing about these missions is that not only do they pay decently from the very start with very little requirements to get into them, but they also are one of the fastest ways to earn Alpha UEC once you're at the max rank. And personally, I think these missions even need a bit more balance compared to other ways of earning money in the game because they're just too darn easy and pay out too much, so you may as well take advantage now on the chances that they may be getting a nerf down the road. Now, despite bunker missions being incredibly reliable and pretty darn easy, my personal favorite way to earn Alpha UEC is in Spaceship Combat missions via the Bounty mission tree. These also offer fast and efficient Alpha UEC earning, but they do require a different skill set, which can take more time to build up if you're still practicing as a pilot. The better pilot you are, the faster these missions will run. These tend to be a higher skill requirement to get into, but again, it's space combat, so if you like the idea of starbucking your way to 1,000,000 credits, then it's definitely for you. Like the mercenary mission, you'll have to complete an evaluation contract to get these started, and then again at each new reputation tier. Again, the nice things about these contracts is that they're very low gear barrier for entry, often only needing minimal weapon upgrades to your starter ship. If you have a Mustang or Aurora, make sure to equip it with a full complement of repeaters. These ships usually only start with 2 guns when they can actually equip up to 4. These aren't expensive, plus you can run gimbals on the inexpensive starting ships without taking a DPS hit, which I would recommend if you're just getting into piloting. And if you're unfamiliar with gimbals, they're basically just a little tracker for your turret that you have to mount onto your ship and then mount the turret to that, and then hitting G on your keyboard will swap your aiming mode to gimbal mode, allowing you to get a little bit of auto aim. So when you aim close to an enemy target, your weapons will snap to it. Now, once again, the best place to run PvE bounties is probably Crusader, as again, the travel time to targets is going to be minimal. And as you rank up your reputation with the Bounty Hunter Guild, the bounty targets will go from very low risk to low risk, then medium risk, high risk, very high risk, and finally extreme risk targets. Now, by the time you get to high risk targets or very high risk targets, you should be close to or past your $1 million mark, and you may want to consider upgrading your ship. Extreme risk targets aren't really worth doing in the starter ships. At max rank, you'll be earning over 90k per group contract, but you'll also be going up against hammerheads. These sub-capital class ships have tons of shields and a full complement of turrets with 360 degrees of coverage. Being able to orbit them at range is the only effective way to engage them with smaller ships, and you'll also need to focus down single shield sections since they have 4 quadrants of shields which can charge independently. So aiming for the nose exclusively is going to be necessary for getting any sort of timely kill. Now, the thing is, you really don't have to mess with extreme risk targets simply because hammerheads generally add to the length that the mission takes, and running very high risk target group missions offers a comparable payout, especially when you factor in the time. Plus, they can be soloed pretty easily with a starter ship like a Mustang without too much trouble. Your biggest threats in these missions are going to be Hurricane heavy fighters. They're fast and they bring a ton of firepower, so don't sit still against these guys. When possible, you want to separate the groups of enemies as needed. Light fighters just aren't designed to tank damage in a furball, so you can kite them away and engage the closest targets first. I also recommend setting your flare count to 3 by holding the right Alt key and tapping H until your countermeasures reads 3. This will give you the best chance of evading incoming missiles, as some of the light ships can be completely disabled by a single missile hit. Now, the bunker and bounty mission trees offer the best earning options and cater to different skill levels and interest. Each one of them has a good path to proficiency that covers a lot of aspects of the game as well. And of course, while focusing on one type of mission will increase your reputation faster, it can be boring to just do the same type of mission over and over. So mixing it up can make the road to a mill a bit more of an enjoyable experience. Personally, I think the bunker missions are probably going to be the most accessible given the skill needed to complete them, and the payout for most players is going to be pretty damn impressive. Now, along the way, other missions will avail themselves to you that are going to be fun to run and actually offer decent payouts. If you're running bounty missions, keep your eye out for combat assistance beacons. These will appear at the top of your HUD and you'll have to hit the left bracket to accept them. Usually other people in the server want them, so grab them up quick. It's often a high payout for a fast fight to assist the ship in combat. The only thing is you'll have to be ready to complete them quickly or they'll time out. So if you're not in a ship and ready to fight, it's possible they'll time out before you are. Then there's also some other really cool missions like the 890 Jump Rescue that spawns around Microtech and ArcCorp, and the Black Kite Reclaimer missions. These pay decently and can mix in a fun variety of gameplay like ship combat, boarding, FPS combat, and searching for items. I wouldn't say these are the most time-efficient missions in the game, but they're fun excursions and the payout is still pretty decent. Now, if you're looking to make some big money for more loot-oriented gameplay, you can try farming mined gems from NPC hideouts and caves. And while you can come across caves without a mission, it's going to be way more time efficient to just take a bounty extraction mission from the bounty tab that mentions a cave. There's one that spawns regularly on Daymar that can be accessed when in the Crusader system. As you go into the cave, you'll have to start taking down NPCs. Search their chest armor and backpacks for gems. Some of the containers you find will also have gems. You're going to be looking for Dolivine and Hadanite, which are the best minerals in terms of value. Make sure you bring a big backpack and loot as many of these as you can. When you complete the mission for the $25,000 reward, take them back to a station or mining outpost to sell. You'll likely make around $140,000 to $150,000 per run. Just try not to get lost in the caves. You can also increase your money by mining in the caves with a multi-tool as you go. Assuming that you find some Hadanite to mine, you could be making upwards of $190,000 per run. Now, the bigger risk with going on a cave mission is that, well, you can get lost in the caves pretty easily, or you can run into another player that just doesn't mind killing you. But the plus side is that you can start earning big money right away without having to progress your reputation tiers. Now, keep in mind on your road to your first million alpha UEC that Star Citizen is often its most fun when you do something unexpected. For the more socially inclined players, Star Citizen offers a variety of player-to-player activities that have built-in rewards. With the recently increased player cap, servers can now have over 100 players at once, which means a lot of people are going to be running out of fuel, getting stranded, getting incapacitated, or looking for help to navigate the verse. You may even see some rescue or transport beacons pop up on your heads-up display. And while the general payout of rescue beacons is on the low end, they can help break up the monotony of running basic missions non-stop. There's also a big opportunity for partying up with players that you rescue to take on bigger missions that you may not have access to. You might also be surprised by the sheer generosity of players in the verse. Respond to a beacon or someone asking for help in chat, and it could turn into a fat reward, or at the very least, a new friend made. So, if possible, try to make your road to a million a fun one. Grinding for bigger ships is great and all, but honestly, the joy of flying small craft and running missions is hard to beat. Having money in Star Citizen provides variety above all else, and once you have enough to get by, most players spend their time doing what they enjoy versus just grinding for cash. I hope this guide is helpful and makes your transition into the universe of Star Citizen a little less painful. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.